Good morning. We need some enthusiasm in here. There it is. Glad to see all of you. Welcome. Welcome to those of you online. We appreciate you being here as well. All right. Before I hand this over, who wants to be generous this morning? Who's feeling generosity today? Yeah? Yes. Chelsea is going to grab the basket and come around right now. And we're just going to give you an opportunity to be generous this morning. If those of you online are feeling generous, you can go to the website, uneditedlife.org, and hit the give button in the lower right corner and give. Go ahead, Chelsea. Thank you. I appreciate you volunteering back there. Jesus, we are so thankful for what you're doing in here this morning. We are so thankful for you, for your generosity to us, for your love for us. And we look forward to what you are going to release here today and through the next year. It's in your name we pray, Jesus. All right, we've got a treat for you today. Fries and the Duncans, they are going to come up and share what Jesus is doing here locally for 2023. All right, come on up.
They're excited. Good morning, guys. Good morning, online. So we were asked to come and talk about what 2023 looks like for Unedited Life, Junction City. What it looks like for us here, and what God is telling us about 2023. Vince brought the question for us: What is Jesus? What is Jesus' intention for 2023 for us locally? So we all sat with that question. We all came up with some different ideas. Actually, they all fit together. Like they all go together. So, do you guys want to start? Do you want to start? Me first. I can start. So one of the big things that keeps coming back up is 2023 is about family, right? Family here that we have locally. You've heard a few times that in Acts Church, they talk about all things in common. I was thinking about that in terms of family, right? And it's a little thing, right? My kids know that things are provided for them, right? They have access to all things, right? Just last night, Serenity just messaged me. It's like, hey, I need the password for the streaming, right? It wasn't a hesitation to give out something like that, right? Because it's hers, right? She is part of the family. And that doesn't just stop in our homes. It applies to all that are here, right? We share all things in common. That is not just the physical things that we can give, right? It's the emotional and the gifts that we can give also. Something God was talking to me a few weeks ago was about our people here. And I kind of categorized them into two categories, right? When we have people that come in our church here, we have the back door people and the front door people. And the back door people are pretty much everybody that's sitting here today. Right? When you come to church, you walk in the back door, right? Because this is your home, you know it, you know where things are, you belong. You don't hesitate to go find the creamer in the refrigerator. You don't hesitate to go get stuff because this is your home, right? And so we own that space, right? We own this community. And when we have people come in the front door, maybe they're new, maybe they don't come here as often. As family that's here, it's our job to welcome them in to our family, to our community. Just like when you go over somebody's houses, right? Most of us that are sitting here, we have keys to each other's houses, right? You kind of knock on the door, you walk in, because we're family. And so with that, I want 2023 family expanded beyond that. Oftentimes I feel like sometimes we come in and we hear the highlights of each other's weeks, maybe. but we don't really sit and celebrate each other. And sometimes we don't sit and hear the hard parts either, right? And with family, you sit with each other. You sit in those hard times. You sit when things don't go well. So this year, I'm challenging us to be family and to truly celebrate each other. Celebrations we have on the calendar. I think we got everybody's birthday. We put on the calendar everybody's birthday, and because we're going to celebrate each other. We're going to celebrate birthdays because that's what families do, is they celebrate each other's birthdays. Right? I want to celebrate basketball games. I want to celebrate whatever else is going on in your life. We want to celebrate it. Okay? So we want to make a big deal of each other and what we're doing. And I love that we're doing service next week at the main thing because that's what it is. So we're celebrating what is going on there because that's a big deal. Okay? So I'm super excited for that to start it. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. So, same question. What does God have for us in 2023? So, regarding worship, I am super confused in a way, like, God, you're not going to tell me because it's not going to be something that's planned and charted out. It's going to be a new song. So, every day when you worship with us, don't expect 5 songs, you're out. We're going to pause and we're going to wait to hear what he has to say for us. And I'm excited for that and a little bit nervous at the same time. But I know it's going to be good. He never lets us down. He never does. So that's what I see for worship in 2023 is us coming together and not just myself and the worship team, pressing in for what God wants, but all of us pressing in together. Because I always tell the guys I see like this, those little balls that have the electricity that shoots out from the center, the plasma balls. Yeah, I kind of see it like that. As we lift Jesus up together, it just generates power and it connects our hearts to each other. And so to truly be family, that's a really important part of it. That's the one thing we all have in common is that we love Jesus. And one day we're going to spend eternity with him. So that's, if we have nothing else in common, we have that. So, yeah. Woo! So, all right.
Robin, before you go on, will you
yeah.
also talk about when we were meeting and we talked about this, you brought up what we do outside of Sunday mornings and how that affects worship. Can you talk about that some?
So, like back in July, God started talking to me about fasting TV. Okay, so I'm not telling you all that you have to fast TV, but this is just what God spoke to me personally. He said he wanted me to do it for 30 days, and he said, see what I will do. I'm like, all right, I can do this. So it was so funny because in that time, I was like, well, nothing else distracted me. So, that love that I have for Jesus, it's very, and the love he has for me, it just draws you to seek more. So in that 30 days, I don't know, I grew by leaps and bounds in my closeness to him so that actually when 30 days came around, I still didn't turn it back on. And so I was wondering why that is. I'm like, God, is TV bad? Are we not supposed to watch it? And it's like, no, it's about whatever you spend your free time on. Those are the things that are energizing you and filling you. So if you're spending them on what's popular, just with your head in your phone and with your head in the TV watching series, anything. It's just that's what's energizing you, and that's what's going to come out of you, when you do run into people. And so if we really want to be a blessing to our community and really want to connect our hearts as family, we got to be just aware of how we spend our free time. Is it giving God glory? Is it what's going to recycle out of us and be good for our neighbors, for our family, for our church?
something that's coming, and it's not necessarily new, but we're gonna dive into the gospel, and it's not just about what he did for us, but it's also about how that actually in real time affects our lives. And so every message, regardless of the direction of the message, is going to be intertwined with the gospel. And my brain just went blank.
Something else in there is that with that, as we make sure the gospel is intertwined in there, we want to open up more ministry time in there, right? We don't want it to be that you hear a message and something touches and you walk out of this building confused, unsure, or with sickness still, right? We want ministry time to be a priority, to happen every Sunday.
And bring it together in a way that when we invite people that aren't backward people, they come in and they get the life-giving hope and the love of the gospel and and the understanding and application of it. And so, yeah.
We talked about in there that this last season has kind of been a time of pruning, right? For the church, for us and stuff. And as we go into 2023, I think we're going to see growth. And you have to prune back stuff for it to grow. And that's where we're at, right? So sometimes those are the really harsh messages maybe that we've heard and really things like that, right? But we have to prune stuff back. Just like Robin was saying, she had to prune back that TV, take that away to grow. And so sometimes we have to lose things to grow. And I think 2023, we're going to see growth.
Something that actually just occurred to me like maybe a couple days ago, but I asked God, well, why can't we just have this kind of relationship regardless with what I do with my free time? And he's like, no, it doesn't work that way. If you have that kind of relationship with your spouse, how will it go? Okay, that's good. I think that was kind of important. You know what? So spending that time and getting a deeper grounded handle on his love, I don't think we'll ever have a handle on it, but as my roots just kind of dug in deeper, I felt like he was telling me maybe he didn't do this before, because I've been always very comfortable with just the way worship has always gone, with the latest greatest song, and just do it well, and do it with excellence. And that's going to be what gives God, the glory. But actually, he said, you won't be able to contain and do the thing that I want you to do if you don't spend that time with me. So back then, I wasn't really as aware of what I spent my time on. So I just didn't even have the capacity for the songs to flow out. I tell you, 10 years ago, this would have scared me to death. But, that's why it's so important to spend your time at ways that ground you.
And 2023 is going to be a year of experience. We're going to share our gifts, and we're going to impart our gifts, and we're going to see things, and we're going to see the unseen, and we're going to hear the unheard, and it's going to affect the city. It's going to affect our community here, but it's going to affect. We're going to have people come in this door and take what we have here and take it into the city.
Yeah, it's great. something that I find really interesting as we're moving towards the end of 2022 into 23 is everybody's talking about them. It's not like just the church or just secular. Like everybody's talking about moving to a year of growth, and a year of having to put in effort but getting great reward. There's so many Instagram stories and all that. Like, put in your work, start your business, do the groundwork now so we can have a profitable 2023. And like, it's just a universal thing, but it is going to take, it's going to take showing up fully. It is going to take effort. It's going to take us pushing in. So that's my challenge for 23 is encouraging us all to live in our gifts, live in the things that we're asked to do. Really start digging in yourself. We have the Brambles trip back. We're receiving this up. Where we're set up, it's like we're pitched a slow ball. It's here. It's ready for us to take and swing away. But it's not going to happen if we step back. So I had a story that I want to share. Yay! Everybody's excited. I haven't really liked this much, but a couple weeks ago at work, we had this gentleman went down. It wasn't witnessed. It sounds like the wife maybe heard it, so it wasn't too many minutes before she called 911. But it was still, he was down for 10 minutes without pulse. And if anybody knows stats, after the 10 to 15 minutes of downtime without CPR, like statistically survivability is 0.00 something. It's just so infinitesimally small. So we responded. We had a great crew. We had everything, but we were still batting against 0 or something. And we get there, and we do our work. We do everything that we need to do, but it wasn't looking good. We'd done it. I think we're maybe 10 minutes of CPR, 10 minutes of medication. We were starting to do the maybe we should call the doctor, see if we should even proceed, see if we need to do next. So it was really hard because we had everything was perfect in this. Aside from the fact that keeping down our side, we had done everything. We had 3 paramedics on scene. We had another 5 EMTs. Like everything that was right there, and we still weren't having favorable results. At that point, the wife just started to contend. She was like, no, this is not what's happening today. We're not going to do this. Like, pretty much as calm as I am. She's like, no, it's not. It's not going to happen. She started contending and battling against us, right? And everybody aside from me generally, they were like, okay, but she was just battling there, essentially by herself, with her family, but by herself, not taking this. So another few minutes had gone by. We still hadn't seen any change. And so I walked out to make a phone call to the doctor for cessation. So we would give us some dead. And as I had the order, the doctor said, I walked back in. His rhythm had changed. And it, yeah. Literally, he had the orders, to stop our efforts. And there's no doubt in my mind that her contention was the only thing that changed this. So, it's one of those things that the takeaway for me is she showed up when nobody else did. She stood out to everybody in there as the strange one, as the one that was odd. But it was her effort that actually did the thing. Our efforts couldn't have done it. So I just challenge all of us to take a bit of that and know that it may look strange, we may seem aberrant, but really that's the power that we hold and can change the trajectory of everything, because there's nothing we could have done. So it was such a great thing, and I was supervisor, so I got to hang around a little bit longer and explain to her. I spoke with her. She was us. So it was a very cool experience. Still to this day, I think it was her that made the difference, not us.
That's amazing. And I just hear that, and I hear that we often will come here, and we come here in this building, and we're like, okay, I'll be healed on Sunday. When I want you guys to walk in the door saying, guess what I did this week? Guess what I did this week? I met with a coworker. I did this, right? Come in with the stories. Don't expect the stories to happen here, right? That's kind of what Robin was saying also, right? That's what we've all been saying, right? Gifts are to be shared, and there's no reason they just need to be shared in this, right? We have a whole community of Junction City that needs healing and needs what we know and stuff. And so 2023, we're going to go take it.
Yeah.
We're going to take it, and it's going to be awesome. We are, yes, take it by force. The other thing that just is really cool about 2023 for me is that Vince and Angie have stewarded the church to us, right? They're sowing the church to us. You have prophets and, oh my gosh, I was going to say apostles. He's an apostle. Pastors. That is something that if you talk to anybody else that is in leadership at church, they're like, no way that's going to work. We are on two separate spectrums of it, right? They talk to God, they hear directly from God. We hear the heart of the people, right? That is like going two separate ways, and it's working, and it's going to work. And with that, we're capturing everything, and we're moving. And I'm excited.
I love it. Angie actually just whispered to me, hey, how would you think about church in the salon on Sunday? And I'm like, what? Hey, it's funny because the cool thing about that is you'll get people that walk into a salon that may not walk into a church door, And so ministry is just as possible and effective, maybe even more so in that kind of a place, because you've just got, gosh, how many guests do you think we serve there? Our guest list is in the thousands. So I'm just like, that is a really big board of people. So, just a lot. I don't know.
I think the other
Hey,
thing
haven't you seen Charlotte's Web?
Oh yeah, smorgasbord. A buffet.
Yes.
Wider range.
Lots of, oh, dang, I'm getting old.
The other thing that I think we just need to be ready for with 2023 and all of this is ready for the normal to be abnormal.
Yeah.
Right? Don't come in here and expect the same thing every Sunday. We are going to expect the same thing every week from you guys, right?
No.
Yes. We're creatures of habit. Humans as in general are creatures of habit. And we are breaking that, and it is going to be different. We may not like different, but I'm telling you to get on board because it's going to be different. And if you aren't there, then you're going to be lost and you're going to be left behind. And we don't want to leave you guys behind.
It won't be
right?
fun to get
It
on
won't be
board.
fun.
It will be fun
Once we're there. Yes.
to get on it.
Yes. It's going to be an adventure. And I'm excited for a new adventure, for changes to come, things not to look the same, right? And I know one of the biggest fears that have come from this change is that Vince and Angie are going somewhere. They aren't going anywhere. They're still here. You'll still hear them talk. They will still give their amazing messages that they give. But it's going to look different and different as good. Different as good. Yes.
Okay. Do you have anything else? No? Okay, so the takeaway from this is that things are not going to look like they used to, and it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. It's scary to jump in, but just jump in the river. It's going to be flowing fast. Just jump in and get carried away.
Something else, I think, so from this, if I could say some things that you can expect from us, Expect worship not to look the same. Expect new songs. New songs have never been written because Robin's writing new songs. I feel it. I'm excited. Expect time together. We are working and planning out monthly family days.
Yeah.
Whatever those look like, movie nights, something, we're spending time together. Okay? And expect that you're challenged to use your gifts in church and out of church. And
Yeah.
we're asking you to hold us to that also, right? If we're going to lead this change, we ask to be held to that also, right? To use our gifts, expect the time together, and expect changes, good changes.
Yep. That's good. Okay. I'll pray. Look, did you see that? You got it.
Go for it.
Lord Jesus, we love you so much. We thank you that you love us too. And we thank you that this year is going to be a year where we experience you. Lord, I thank you that you're just going to show us new things, and you're going to take our emotions and use them to know that you're here with us, Lord. And, I thank you that it will affect this community, this region. Lord, I thank you for your reach into this entire state, God. And I just pray that you continue to bless it in Jesus' name.
So for all of us who are wondering why on earth are we meeting at the salon? While we were praying this morning, we were just, the high faith that was in my heart, wanting to reestablish what that means for us. And we have been so content with, like you said, just pulling the written songs off the shelf and redoing them. And God is like, not impressed, to be quite honest with you. And so what we did last Wednesday in Topeka was so challenging. And I'm pretty bold. This was like super challenging for me that, Pepper put on a really familiar worship song. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, which was a cutting edge song when it came out. And I mean, it was kind of like he was taking a stance and saying enough's enough, at that time. And here we are again. And she was like looking for the holes in the song. She's like, I just want you to tell me, what do you feel when you're listening to the song? And we were all just like bored to death. No offense, whoever the artist is. Because Matt Redman, yes. But then she played it again with just the music, just the instruments. And she was like, I want you to allow Holy Spirit to take you somewhere with like whatever the phrase is in your heart. I want you to worship with that and allow it to cause you to ascend. And it took us a little bit of time after the song was over because I think God just kind of got lost in this space. And she's like, now tell me, we're going to put together a song right here, right now. And we were like, we are. And she's like, just sing it out. No. And so it took a little bit of time. And then, you have to ask the question, like, what exactly are you looking for? And she's like, okay, like just release the words and I'll sing it. And by that time, John had gotten our make-believe drum that Pepper had. And it makes noise. And it was amazing, actually. And so we just started to release these words that God had already put in our hearts. And Pepper just went for it. And we were all taken into this new space of worship. And so that's where this idea was kind of birthed from this morning. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, Jesus is wanting to create high praise and he's looking for fanfare, and he's wanting to trade beauty for ashes, right? And so what better way to do that than from a salon? And right? I know, I'm like, Jesus, I see you. And so that's where this, and we just knew, we're like, we have no choice. We have to do this. And there just needs to be a fluidity between what we hold as sacred. Like we view this place as, the sacred place where we must worship. And God's like everywhere, right? And so he's just wanting high praise released everywhere. And I feel like he's even saying, everywhere you go, I want you to establish high praise and beauty. And so there's just such a connection between worship and beauty that he's making right now. And the only way we're going to get to the bottom of it is actually going to the place of beauty to be able to establish high praise. So there you have it. It's cool. I'm really snickering thinking, and then what happens? We sometimes have a Sunday visitor. That would be hilarious. Yeah. Hi, Praise. Come join. Oh, all right. Okay. Yep. Have an awesome week, guys. We love you.